Just don't have time. He games till 4 in the morning, sleeps till 4 in the afternoon. Everybody else does everything for him, and he just gets in a Discord meeting and he's like, "All right, what's up, guys? What do you got for me?"
He would just come in, say what he needed. Yeah.
It was almost unbearable to be in there. You can feel the just annoyance. It's almost like I felt like we were being annoying to him and that he had something else that he'd rather be doing, but he'd come in and just be like, "So what do you guys have for me?"
And then he'd blow up.
And then when you told him something that he didn't want to hear, he would just blow up. He would.
Yes.
That's just not what he wanted at all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give my PowerPoint presentation, and he's like, no, just give me the logical facts.
Hi beautiful people, happy Thursday. I hope everyone is doing fantastic wherever you are around the world. I don't know if anybody else is keeping up with the news in reference to the Queen. Oh, my heart is so sore. I hope she recovers from this, whatever it is, but it doesn't seem that way. But you know what? She's lived such a long life. I will be continuing praying for her and her entire family. In this video, you are going to see clips from a stream Unirock did 3 days ago, where he was reacting to a video done by Nonsense on the Web, where they were discussing the GoFundMe, the funds that Miss Latisha has recouped, and they're actually accusing Miss Latisha of being a scammer, a liar, in my opinion. And they feel that Miss Latisha made astronomical amount of money, in which my opinion is just like impossible, absolutely impossible. But that is just me. So before we get into these clips, please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusion. So without further ado, here we go.
I do think it's important to talk about this until all the information's out. Once we've got it all out, I'm going to put up a video on Unirock too that's going to be like, here's what happened once we got it all. Alf says, yes, sir, I'll watch. I just wanted someone to dig in her behind. Now I get it. Oh, I know. And look, I want to also, I've got those own personal motivations too, I'm just a person. I'd love to hand it to Molly. I really, though, think that if I handed it to her while sitting there, she would have kicked me and muted me. Everybody told me that. Everybody came to me and said, I said, what is going to happen if she lies? And I bust out a clip. They all said, well, she's going to kick you. And I said, okay, I'll save it for the end. I'll hear out everything. When I get near the end, I'll be like, well, Molly, can you just watch a couple of these clips real quick and explain these short things, right? Because then when she kicks me, at least I might get a chance to put a couple clips up, right? So that was plan number one. Plan number two was that the main thing was if they offered evidence to see it, but they had a catch-22, of course. And a lot of times these guys already know what's going to happen. They're smart. So if they are scamming, they're going to sit and say, what happens if, he just keeps pressing, if we keep trying to distract him and he keeps pressing for proof, if he actually is not going to just, let it go or something, what do we do? Well, if he asks for proof, you tell him he's going to see it, but he can't see it until we're in private together, and then we'll just never be in private with them, and we'll flip out on him, and that'll work. Now, what Molly didn't realize, and what I think a lot of other people don't realize, is I need Molly to do that. That really helps with what I'm doing, if that's what she wants to do, because it's a big thing to show people in my video. Like, I went over, super nice, offered to help them, offered to, if they didn't want to show this stuff on their channel, do it on mine. If they didn't want to show, if they thought it was too boring to get up there and show receipts, it's okay. I'll do it on my channel, whatever. Try to help them get out of the criticism, move on with what they do, so that we can, because I do want to criticize Molly, and I'm going to. One thing I've promised my subs since the very beginning of this is that when I saw the more, what do you say? Anti-TOS, the more nasty things that Molly's been doing to people, I would handle each of those situations too, with the video, with the criticism, with the live stream. Until now is really good because we can actually show Team YouTube now that a mass doxing happened after a fundraiser for an emergency. Team YouTube doesn't fuck around with emergencies. They don't fuck around with you using emergency fundraisers to dox people, harass people, form harassment groups, none of that shit. They don't fuck around. We'll get results with a lot of the stuff that we're going to do. I don't know if we're going to get results when it comes to this fundraiser. Oh, I forgot to say the main point. I am going to make fun of Molly for the crazier stuff she's doing. I'm just not going to mix it with the Marvon situation because that'd be disrespectful to Marvon. I've told people that since the beginning. But cops don't investigate doxings that often. Very true. They do when those doxings happen due to private data obtained during an emergency fundraiser charity issue. If they find out this is a scam, if they do, and they realize that the doxings were perpetuated to try to stop people from realizing that, it'll get even worse for the people in that group, Molly and Latisha. No. There was no harassment. Did not start with the refunds at all. They haven't shown any evidence of that whatsoever. If they had it, you really think they wouldn't have shown it? Because that would have incited more donos from those people that are all invested in the fighting. It would have incited more views and more, oh my God, I can't believe that people would do this to Latisha and all that. They would have definitely showed it if it existed. All we've seen is people being nice and professional, making sure that in the notes of their refund request, they're saying positive things and they're not being mean. I've not seen anything rude, not even rude. And we're talking about people that really do feel like they've been scammed and they're still not getting rude.
This refund request had started happening right away.
Oh, baby.
Not just after these creators got involved, and not just off of GoFundMe.
Oh, hell no. So are you telling me they set me up? They've been trying to blame all this shit on me this whole time, and you're telling me they set my ass up? Oh, hell no. This better, I hope that all of a sudden nonsense is like, just kidding or something, because I'm gonna be, Molly, you try to set me up? Is that what you've done? Because that would explain the way you just acted yesterday, wouldn't it? And the day before. Ooh, I think I'm gonna figure this out, Molly. You might not be sending me a lawsuit after all, huh? It might be the other way around.
They started using CASHAPP, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, and anything else they could besides GoFundMe.
Because you can't do that. If your GoFundMe gets shut down for scam, you can't go and use other sites.
Yet, once again, they've not shown any of this harassment.
Because it didn't happen. I've seen so many refund requests that are just so polite. It comes under wire fraud. Yes, it's a felony, but can be pled down if resolution is granted or already made. If it's over a limit, it's big bad and no getting out.
And again, we know that Molly went on a little staycation to Chicago, which is fine. And I'm sure her and Latisha didn't have contact throughout the entire thing. But Molly herself has stated to all of us that her and Latisha talk on the daily. So now she's saying that she hadn't talked to her in days, basically, that she was out of the loop. Well, that's really interesting because Wynette and Marvon Sr. actually went live with Molly when she was in Chicago. Does anybody forget about that? You know, the time that Wynette picked up the phone and called Dre and left her a message when she was live with Molly?
That's so messed up. That is so messed up. You shouldn't be fucking with Dre. Why would Dre even talk to you guys after the stuff you've said on Molly's stream, for fuck's sake? And then to call Dre while you're live, while she's dealing with him in a coma? I don't give a shit how much you hate her. What the fuck? What kind of people are you? The fuck are you doing? She's got little kids that are crying and upset and that are depressed and that have their dad in a coma. And she's dealing with this every day, and you're going to get on the phone during a live stream to try to what? Incite a bunch of hatred towards her or something? What the fuck are you doing? We're going to get to the bottom of whether Dre deserved this shit or not. And if Dre did, I will criticize Dre. But I keep figuring out more and more that these people are not doing the right thing. Janelle says, wait, they left a message then later said Dre texted them and they read it on live. The text was saying, no, you have done all this on social media and you can't come. See, Dre's not even being rude about it. And what did I just say? If one of my family members did this shit on social media and called me a murderer and attacked me and said I starved my kids and then made money off of it and took donations off of it, I'd never talk to him again. It wouldn't just be while you know my girlfriend's in the hospital or whatever's going on. It's going to be the rest of my ever-loving life. I'm not a piece of trash. You can hate me. You can treat me like a piece of trash. That's your right. I'm not going to. The only time I will enable it, the only time I will give it any credence is if I make that decision if I allow myself to do it. And no, I wouldn't do it. It wouldn't happen. Kat says, if I was Dre, I would tell egg donor and sperm donor, I would tell them to fuck off. Me too. I would have said it the second they went on social media, the second they called me a murmurer, the second they said I starved my kids, the second that they profited off of the coma, I would never speak to them again. Oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? How in the fuck do these people not think this way? What the fuck are they doing? They literally think they can act however they want, and they have to then they have to say, hey, you guys have to treat me like I'm fucking royalty. I'm going to act like the most disrespectful, nasty person ever, but you got to treat me like royalty. You don't go on streams. You don't profit off the situation. You worry about Marvon. You actually talk to Dre when you're in town. You actually acknowledge her existence when you pass her at the hospital. Treat her professionally. If you don't want to treat her nice, she's going to let you in there. She said it herself. It's in the text messages. It's in this text message, the recent one. Dre is not being vindictive here. She's not doing a lot of shit wrong here. And she could, by the way, and she'd get a pass because Marvon is in a coma. No matter whether I like Dre or not, whatever determination I come to when I go and start looking deeper into the situation with Dre, and if she murmured Marvon, because that came from these people. How do you choose to go on a YouTube channel, doesn't have to be Molly's, just any YouTube channel that's trying to frame you as a murmurer and that you need your kids taken and all that stuff? The authorities are involved. The authorities being involved, all the money that's donated is going to be investigated. So put it up as much as you want. Do whatever you want. So there's already been investigation reports filed to Savannah police over the fundraiser issue since this happened. I said this the minute I found out that Latisha claimed to be harassed. I said, get to the police, and if there's anything I can do, let me know. If anything anyone needs from my side, I couldn't fathom what it would be, but I am not only against it, I've busted entire troll campaigns, entire harassment campaigns. I've busted harassment campaigns that were spurred off of SH accusations and everything else on this platform. I've always wondered why, right? They told me in my talk with them, they felt that way because they'd seen refunds or they'd seen information, and they said, do you want to see it or something? I said, yeah. You think we can't check this? You know, I really think that there aren't people out there who got refunds. I figured someone would come forward and show us, and we're not talking about people that donated to GoFundMe. We're not talking about them. That has nothing to do with this. We're talking about CASHAPP, Zelle, and PayPal. They're making such a big deal over these refunds, you know. Again, if you give a refund, you would not care to screenshot it, make sure that you hide any identifying data, and show proof of it. But you shouldn't have to. You don't need proof of refunds. You just need proof that you did what you were supposed to do with the money, how much money that you got, and proof that you spent the money on what you were supposed to solves the whole problem. So this is a problem that's underneath the main problem. It's like, let's create another piece of evidence that you need, or another thing you need to do that the main thing cures. It's under the umbrella of, so let's ask ourselves, is it easier to go in, grab all this refund information and show it as proof refunds happened? Or is it easier just to show proof that you got the lawyer and did what you were supposed to do with the money, which, by the way, would take mere minutes, and then be good?
GoFundMe is the only platform that anybody has gotten a refund off of, to my knowledge. At this point, I have seen zero proof of a single refund. I have seen the request, but zero refunds.
Well, Molly came out and admitted that she told Latisha not to give refunds, so there's no refunds.
She also conveniently has forgotten that her and Latisha went live, and during that live, people brought up the topic of refunds, and Latisha told people herself that they could ask for refunds, and she would grant those refunds.
Because Latisha knows that she has to. Latisha knows that she's in one of these types of scenarios where she's made choices herself to make promises for that money that would allow for refunds if she was not taking the steps needed to prove her side of it.
They are still actively seeking donations.
Oh yeah, which that's more of a middle finger move. They're definitely pulling a middle finger move. Now, Kat says, we need to see where this money went. I want to know if I've donated for Molly and Latisha a new car. Well, yeah, definitely. Could you imagine? Could you imagine like the things that Latisha has said herself in messages like we've seen is terrifying. She said she did some refunds and it ended up coming out of her own personal money of her bank account. That's not possible with the scenario that we're in right now. Also, she made so much money. She told us how much the retainer would be. The retainer was not an amount for all of the money that she took in. None of the money she took in from Marvon should have been spent anywhere other than where it was supposed to. Down to the absolute degree. You do not want to profit off of what happened to Marvon. You going out and telling people that you need help to save him and this grandchild with this money. Completely different situation.
And as far as anyone implicating her in anything, the only thing on this channel that we discuss is my opinion and or their behaviors as noted in their streams. Their own.
Exactly. Same here, nonsense. We are just talking about what they choose to make public, what they choose to put out into the public sphere.
Content.
Yeah.
Let's follow their line of thinking for a minute. Wouldn't you be the ones to want it investigated? Since they're the victims, as you call them, Latisha herself seemed pretty confident that an investigation was going to be started because authorities had been contacted. Molly.
So, I have to say that all these numbers that are being thrown around that Latisha made, I sincerely doubt 40,000. And
You doubt 40,000? You doubt it? You sincerely doubt 40,000. You made 17 during that month. You showed it. That was someone not collecting money from the same group of people that were inclined to give money to Latisha. So the person who made the least amount of money is you. You are the least amount of money maker in the situation. The super chats and stuff like that came after Latisha got large, massive, constant donations from people. I would think Latisha making 10 times what you made should be a good start. Let's say you're a creator and you're doing a fundraiser, and then people start sending you some super chats and you make $200. And that person made 1,000 off their fundraiser. See what I'm saying? 2,000. Let's say they made 2,000, you made 200. So I would think it should be around 10 times for a normal fundraiser, not too big fundraiser. Now, as it goes up and up and up, those numbers are going to skew a little bit because you're multiplying more. If Molly made 17, right? And so you're multiplying a bigger, every time there's a multiplication, there is a bigger number added. It's 17 for every time it's multiplied, 17,000. So let's say as you get into that range, I think it'd be minimal, a minimalist guess to state that 5 times would be about right. Now we can round 17 up to 20. So I would think at the minimal amount of money Latisha probably made is somewhere between like 50 and 100. But then when I saw that you made 17, yeah, it kind of surprised me because I'm like, oh shit, Latisha had to make like 10 times that due to normal fundraiser-onomics on YouTube. But it's not normal. This is a big fundraiser. So yeah, I'd say 50 to 100K. I wouldn't be shocked if she made 40. I also wouldn't be shocked if she made 200,000. Hate to say it, it really isn't that extreme to think that she made 60, 80, 40, a hundo. None of those are extreme. Every tactic you used was to get as much money out of the people as possible. It wasn't just help Latisha go see him. It was you got to save him from the murmur Dre. And yes, you were taking donos through all of this. All of these things. I was so shocked. Like, look, if you want to do these weird theories towards Dre, why have the Cash App up on the screen? Why incite people to donate during it? Because that's when a lot of people are going to send money. Now, also, look at it like this. You didn't just fund it on your channel. You didn't just make 17. You made 17 plus whatever Justin made, whatever any other creator you guys went live with around the Latisha thing. So really, we need to add whatever Justin would have taken in during those streams too, which he probably took in half of what you took in over this issue. More realistic to say that creators made around $30,000 off of this issue due to the intense funding. Again, without the intense funding, without the intense mystery, without the intense drones and getting people to go to Dre's, all of that stuff multiplied the amount of money people was sending. They were getting invested. They were getting scared. They were worried for the kids, all that. If we have like 25 or 30 is what the creators made. Now, that was just in 1 month. That was the last thing I was going to say. That was just 1 month. That was just July. We're talking the entirety of August. Hey, we're talking the end of June. And we're talking September. The funding has still been going on. So yes, I am confident that it's more towards 100 after that last statement. You are leaving an entire month out of this, from what I've been told. If she showed more than 1 month, update me in my chat, okay? We should know the full amount, and we should know how much was given to a lawyer. That's why people are angry. We're up to 4,000 people in a stream with loads of donos. Exactly, and the early streams were the biggest. They've been deleted. We can't find them, and I've heard that there were way more people than 4K in those early streams, but those are rumors. Don't take them as serious. I can make whatever I want off this story. I have not attached this story to Marvan's death. See, I'm taking in tips. They're taking in donations for an emergency. Completely different scenario.
The first update she
Add
gave,
it up.
she was sitting at a little over $5,000. By the 11th, she had almost $8,500.
You guys are really hypocritical. Kind of funny. I've never seen any of you ask Molly for that.
By the 14th, or the 15th, she had almost $14,000 was the accounting that we've heard people talk about that had direct communication with Latisha. The last number that I had received was over $67,000.
Guess who is forced to put out an accounting publicly to everybody? Cancer charities, emergency charities, all of those things. Emergency fundraisers for people that have died. Or you want to go fact check me on this, and when you find out that I'm right, you're going to demand Latisha do it, right? Because you actually use logic to come to the determinations you make, and then you apply them to everybody, not just people you like or don't like. I'll be waiting to see you do it to Latisha publicly. Can't wait. Remember, hold on now. Latisha had said to us, and we've seen this, that she made $8,300 4 days into it. And now 4 days into it, so this is before it blew up, the big blow up. So let's just keep it at that. 4 days, $2K a day is what Latisha said she made in the beginning. So even in just 1 month, you're looking at 60. But the story got bigger after she made that. The story was smaller when she made the 8K. It got way bigger before the end of the month. That's why I'm giving you my number. I get Nonsense's estimation. Just so you know why my estimation is what it is, going off of the first 4 days before the most viral period of the story, it was at 8,000 by Latisha's own messages to her admins and other people. Taking that and dividing it by the amount of days equals to 2K a day. We run the fundraiser for just the most viral month that it happened, but instead of adding money each day for how viral it is. So if it was 20,000 views the day she got 2K, and we know that there were 100,000 views this day, let's multiply that day by 4. Let's not do that. Let's lock the entire month at the lowest amount of 2K. That would be 60,000 for 1 month. Thus why I stated that in the most minimalist number, this thing's run for 2.5 months now. The most minimalist number I'm giving you is 50. Let's take that and make it not the most minimalist number. Somewhere around 150 to 2 would be a high guess. So 50 to 150 or 2 would be my guess. I won't be surprised if it's a little lower. But if it's a lot lower, I'll be surprised. If it's 300K, I'll be surprised. 200K, I'll be surprised. If you do basic minimalist math, everyone you go to, we can go to people out there that are pretty damn smart with math. Ask them for an opinion after you give them the facts, as in, here's what Latisha said this day, and this day. you're going to get people who say 50, 60, 100, 150 after they factor in the fact of how long this is run.
100%. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. However, I do not think that Latisha was getting updates to the creators about how much she was getting, or the admins that had any proof for them to say 100%, this is exactly what she had at this point in time. She was giving them very generic numbers, but she was making almost $2,000 a night.
Exactly. There it is. 2,000 a night is a very early, before extreme virality type of number. Remember, 2,000 in one night was a very lower ball number. There were people that there were multiple $500 donos that happened in single nights. Single nights, multiple $500 donations. Nobody knows but Latisha. She's the only one that can look in that thing and see what she made. A lot of times they said full transparency, or they said we're going to be transparent, or we don't got nothing to hide, and we're going to give you guys everything and stuff like that. Those are a lot of their statements, you know. And that the money that's being raised over him being in a coma is going to someone that hasn't filed to do what she claimed. Again, none of this even matters until Latisha files to help Marvon and to help the grandchild. That was what all of this money was for. In the initial donos, it was help them get down there and back. They can live it up while they're down there. They can be comfortable. It'll help ease them. And everybody was happy with that. But those donos turned into huge donos once they started to act like and cook a theory that the grandchild was in danger and Marvon was in danger because of Dre. And then Dre was stopping them from seeing Marvon, which wasn't true. That didn't happen. And then Dre was being evil. Dre was being mean. Didn't happen. The only people that were out there saying mean things and doing all that, you can go look at what Dre said about the situation. I can only find Dre being professional about it, being positive with Marvon. You look at the evidence that's out there, and then you look at what happened and what people said, it looks like it was cooked out of a fantasy. That's going to be the big, YouTube reveal here when the video's done. Was this entire thing cooked up as a big fantasy to try to pad donations? Is that why they targeted Dre so hard? Is that why they acted like this to this woman? Just because they could make money off of her and demonizing her helped with that scenario? I don't want that to be the case. But with no evidence that they should have been acting this way towards Dre and them doing extreme demonizing of Dre, it's really bad. Didn't she get a probate lawyer? We don't know. Here's what we do know. A random account that we have no idea where it came from, or if it's telling the truth, or if it's real, doxes her lawyer. A random account that we know nothing about posts on a Facebook thing, this is Latisha's lawyer, and they put out the name and all this stuff, basically who it is, right? Latisha says, oh my God, this person doxed my lawyer. And then that's all we know, right? So we didn't find that. We heard about that happening, but we couldn't find the post. Well, eventually, a week or two into us doing this, we found the post. Somebody sent it in. And they had called and talked to that lawyer and found out what kind of lawyer it was and all that stuff. That's all they could find out. And they told us what they found out. So it's a claim. We don't know the truth. We just know what we've been told. We did check on the internet, and it is a probate lawyer. We have some information that Latisha has not confirmed or denied or anything. Did Latisha take the lawyer? Did Latisha give all of the fundraiser money to that lawyer and hire that lawyer? And the answer we have for that is no. Never did she say, I paid this lawyer to do these things. So did Latisha ask that lawyer to file to help the grandchild and help Marvon and all this stuff? Did the lawyer say, okay, take Latisha's money and start to go to work and just not file anything yet? It doesn't make sense. Everything Latisha promised that she wanted to do with that fundraiser money was time sensitive. So she won't directly come out and tell us that she hired this lawyer, that the lawyer is going to do what she promised she would do with the money and the lawyer. So it's like, where do we go from there? What happens if she doesn't get the lawyer and actually go through with what she said she was going to do to help Marvon and the kid? She should give the money back to everybody, even the people that don't ask for it, because again, It wasn't her money. It was money to do that. For Molly to sit there and play this narrative that she's convinced that it's not, she's already said in the past over several fundraisers that when people kept the money from those fundraisers and didn't use it for what was intended, they were stealing the money. So why is she changing her opinion here? I don't think she is. I just think she doesn't want to admit it. She feels like we are going to win and she's created a battle with us. That's why I'm trying not to battle with Molly. The worst thing about this is that if Marvon has money made off of his name, it shouldn't be going to profit into anyone's pocket.
You guys can make up your own mind. That's all the clips that I took off of that stream that he did 3 days ago. And I know I am behind with this because there's so much drama or more drama going on now. But also, what Unirock is doing, in my opinion, as you saw in the beginning of the clip, he tends to have a reputation of not doing research. He banks on people doing the research for him. But going back to these clips, this to me is so disgusting and irresponsible. And like I said from before, Uni just needs to do his research first. That's all he needs to do. And I mean, to go as far as putting it out there, Unirock, that you wouldn't be surprised if she earned as much as $300,000. Are you fucking okay, Mr. Drama King? Unbelievable. And you guys, please bear in mind that Miss Latisha is not well. She's in the hospital, absolutely stressed out to the max. And as you've heard by now, she has Bell's palsy, which, you know, is, nobody deserves this, people. Absolutely nobody deserves this. What is wrong with some people? What? This is absolutely unacceptable. She's just a mother that is trying to do her best for the best interest of her son. Nobody's going to take that away from her. That is her son. She birthed him. Whether you fucking like it or not, that's the truth. That's the facts. And if anybody has anything to say to me, feel free. I'll even give you my number. You can come to my door. We can have a discussion. That is her son. Marvon is her son. Okay? In my opinion, a piece of paper means shit. And why does everybody tend to forget? Remember the video that Katie Joy made where she was actually criticizing Dre because Marvon was so excited to reconnect with his family? People tend to not remember these small things that's important. I'm not going to get myself worked up because at the end of the day, you see Unirock is fucked up. What he's doing is fucked up. By him, as you saw in these clips, referring to Vaughn as being dead. Excuse me? Thank you guys so much for joining me. Interested to see your comments and what you guys think about this. Please have a fantastic rest of your day. Please be kind to one another. Please be safe out there. And don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.